This is the Louie T Network.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to lockdown coverage, week number 3 in the National Football League. Tennessee Titans hosting the Seattle Seahawks in what turned out to be a fabulous game. The first half was a defensive struggle, two teams exerting physical dominance on one another. And then the second half, an offensive explosion broke out in which the Titans were able to score 21 unanswered points, building what proved to be an insurmountable lead and holding on for dear life versus the Seattle Seahawks. This was a fun game to watch because I look at this Titans team as a young up-and-coming team in this league, one that I think is going to do big things this season, win their division, make the postseason. I don't think they're ready yet to threaten the big boys in the AFC quite yet. I don't think they have enough experience being in those types of moments to get it done versus Pittsburgh or New England when that time should arise, or even Oakland for that matter, as we saw earlier in the season. But nonetheless, or Kansas City. But I think they're one of the 6 best teams in the AFC when it's all said and done. And I think they're going to prove that throughout the course of this season. I said that before the season started, that I expected this team to take the next step. A lot of people wanted to liken them to the being the AFC version of Tampa Bay. I don't think that to be the case at all. Obviously, everywhere those two quarterbacks go, they're going to be compared with one another. Mariota and Winston, of course, 1 and 2 in that draft. But to me, this Titans team is a little bit further along than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers might actually take a step back while the Titans might actually take that step forward. To me, they're more along the lines of this year's Raiders football team from last year, where this is a team that everyone was expecting to take a step forward in the Raiders last year. Derek Carr should be coming into his own. He put forth what was a hell of an MVP candidacy until the injury. Two games were left in the regular season when he went down to injury. So I liken this Titans team to that Raiders team from last year, that they're ready. They're ready to put forth the kind of season. Now, I don't know if they're going to win, 11 games or so. I think they can get 10. 9 is where I have them, but I think 9 will be good enough to win that division. But I think they can win 10 games. I think I might even have them winning 10 games this season. In any event, this was a statement game for me, and I said, this is a test. You're at home. You got momentum. You got your first win of the season last week on the road versus Jacksonville, brought them back crashing down to earth like you were supposed to. Now you go back home. You got momentum. You got some confidence. The Seahawks are a team that's vulnerable right now. Take care of business. This is a test. They passed the test. And so now I'm willing to go all in on the Titans. I wasn't apprehensive before, but I still had some reservations, but I was sold on this team before the season started. The Raiders game may have given me a little bit of pause, but I still felt that this team was good enough to get it done, and I knew they were going to destroy Jacksonville. I didn't expect the game to be close, and it wasn't. And this was a test, and they passed. And so now I'm all in on the Titans. As for the Seattle Seahawks, they scared me the week previous with their 12-9 win over the 49ers. I told you that was going to affect them going into the next week. Well, it was good to see them put up 27 points in this game. That's something that they hadn't come close to doing this season. It was good to see them get off the schneid offensively, but it took them until they were down big in this game, 30-14, for them to finally wake up and score 27 points. But in any event, they scored 27 points, and that's the most important takeaway from the Seattle Seahawks team in this game. As we get to the breakdowns in this game, if you have not already subscribed to the Louie T Network, what are you waiting on? Subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content in 2017, and beyond. We're changing the game. I want you to help us do that by simply hitting the subscribe button and becoming a member of the Louie T Network. Also, I'm on a number of social media platforms. They're all in the description down below. of this video. Check them out. Follow me. Like the Facebook page. All of that good stuff. Instagram, Twitter. You know the deal. Make that happen. And if you want your comment read, which there shouldn't be tons of comments because you should be watching Monday Night Football, which I will be doing as soon as I stop this video. So I don't expect a ton of comments. But if you're out there and you want your comment read at the end of this breakdown, use the hashtag LouieTLive to have your comment read at the end of this video. Also, if you want to donate to the Louie T Network, there's a way to do that. There's a link at the bottom of this video in the description, and I'll also go over that as well when we have met our conclusion of this video. So let's start with the Titans in this game. I thought they were ultra impressive on the offensive side of the football. I was really amazed at what they've done in the last two second halves of the two games that they played in. We saw what they did, the onslaught against Jacksonville. Remember, that was a 6-3 game at halftime, and they ended up going off on the Jacksonville Jaguars and scoring something like 30 points in the second half of that game, or whatever it ended up being, running away with that game and putting the Jacksonville Jaguars to sleep in that ball game. This game, they scored 24 unanswered points. If you want to add in the field goal right before the half, 24 unanswered points by this Titans football team, or excuse me, 24. They scored 24 straight points, 4 straight possessions, 21 of which was unanswered. Okay, so the Seahawks come out of halftime, they get the touchdown to take the lead 14-9. And then again, for the second half in a row, the Titans turn it up offensively and they hit a switch and they start scoring in bunches. They did it against Jacksonville. They did it here again. First, you get the touchdown to Rashard Matthews, who I think is a stud for this Titans football team. Then you turn around and you get a Jonnu Smith touchdown. And then after that, you turn around and you get the big touchdown run from DeMarco Murray. And just like that, a game that was once 9-7, that was once 14-9 Seahawks, is now 30-14 Tennessee. They would ultimately tack on another field goal and end up winning the game 33-27 as the Seahawks made a furious comeback, had an onside kick, didn't recover. Titans was able to put the game away. But nonetheless, what a performance by this Titans offense. And I have confidence. That's why I was so bullish on the Titans to start this season, is because I felt like they have the ability, unlike a lot of these other teams out here, the young teams especially, that think they're ready for the show. They have the ability to run the football and wear teams down, which is what they essentially did to Seattle. Because if you watch the first half of this game, there was no running. There was nothing going on offensively for the Titans in this game. The Seahawks were all over them, but they slowly wore that team down with a consistent ground attack. And ultimately, they got their goal of body punch, body punch. I thought it was a great analogy by Charles Davis doing the telecast, where he's like, essentially, it's a body punch, body punch, body punch. You're wearing them down, and at the end, you put that money in the bank, and when it comes time to withdraw, you're going to finally see the dividends that you reap from going to the body. And that's what happened in the game. On that DeMarco Murray run, Justin Fowler blocked two guys, essentially, gets a block, the kick-out block to spring him up the field along with Taylor Lewan. And then Justin Fowler is literally 60 yards down the field getting a final block to escort him into the end zone there. And that was a hell of a piece of running by DeMarco Murray there. Not every back in the league scores on that run. At some point, they take a bad turn, they don't follow their blocking, and they get tackled. He did a magnificent job of setting up blockers, following his blockers, making all the right cuts, and finally finding his way into the end zone. It was, like I said, a magnificent piece of running. Not every back in this league scores on that run. That was sensational on his part to find a way into the end zone. And like I said, this team has all the ingredients necessary to be a dangerous team in the AFC. You've got the quarterback in Mariota. I love the fact that he's protecting himself. Took a hellacious shot on the sidelines from Richard Sherman. And I love the fact that his teammates stood up for him, got penalties. I don't mind a penalty in that situation, or two, which the Titans had from two of their offensive linemen there. You need your offensive linemen to set precedents. Look, you're not going to hit my quarterback like that, or there will be repercussions. So I love the fact that they were able to step in and make some noise there. Mariota does everything you need. Sometimes he's errant, throwing the football a little high like he was early to start this game, but at the end of the day, he's good enough to get it done, make all the throws. you've got a supporting cast now that matches the talents of your quarterback. I love the fact that you have multiples at every position. You got multiple running backs. You got multiple tight ends that can hurt the opposition. And now you got a slew of receivers to get the football to. Corey Davis still hasn't really shown himself yet. And you've got other guys still stepping up, making an impact. And so you got to love what the Titans have surrounded him with. This is a talented football team. The offensive line is legit. We knew that from last year. I think this team is poised and ready to go. And this is a big statement game for them. And I thought they responded in the correct manner after the Seahawks scored to start the third quarter. They responded with 3 straight touchdowns and really took control of this football game. I thought it was an excellent performance by the Titans offensively. Let's go to the defensive side of the football, where you see a defensive team here that's starting to try to carve out an identity. They're still looking for a consistent pass rush, but they did a good job of taking advantage of a very inferior Seattle Seahawks offensive line. They really had Russell Wilson on the move. They flustered him. They got him out of the pocket. But he still was able to make plays outside the pocket. You know how Russell Wilson does. For an example, Brian Orakpo basically comes untouched, has a free shot at him right around the 1-yard line. Somehow, some way, Russell Wilson is able to duck, elude the rush, get outside, and make a play. So those are the types of plays that he made in this particular game. But hats off to this defense. Logan Ryan and that secondary I thought was extraordinary. They made plays throughout the course of this game to make it tough on Seattle. When they did score points, outside of the drive right before the half that netted the Seahawks their first points of the game, where they gave up 2 big passes down the left sideline, I thought they made the Seahawks work for every single scoring opportunity that they got in this game. And again, when you score 30 points and you put the onus on your defense to make sure that if the other team's going to score, they do it in a manner where they eat up clock. I thought the Titans did all of those things and then some, in making sure that those 30 points were enough in this game and that they would hold up in the final of this game. And so I thought it was an all-around good performance by the Tennessee Titans. I thought the defense did a phenomenal job of stopping the run and making Russell Wilson beat them, because they haven't done a good job through the air. They haven't scored a ton of points this year. So the big key for me was to stop the run and make sure that if they were going to have any success, it was going to be on the right arm of Russell Wilson. And he was able to make some plays, but it wasn't enough. And hats off to the Titans offensively, defensively, and special teams. Adoree Jackson with a great punt return gets called back via block in the back. It was a block in the back. I heard some people complaining about it. It was a block in the back. Nonetheless, he's still dynamic out there, and he's going to break one at some point this year. And also to have Ryan Succop continue to bang the field goals through the uprights, that's another added plus for this Titans team, knowing that if you get in field goal range, your kicker is going to go in there and do what he's supposed to do and put the 3 points on the scoreboard. It's a well-rounded Titans team, and that was a well-rounded Titans performance and victory versus a good Seattle Seahawks team at home. You go to the Seahawks side of things in this game, and I thought it was a great start to the game defensively for them in this ball game. Really came out with a ton of energy, stifled the Titans run game. At one point, Derrick Henry had negative yards rushing. DeMarco Murray didn't have anything going early on in this ball game. They were ferocious. They were rallying to the football. They were getting to Mariota, flustering him, making him uncomfortable. A lot of his throws were errant and high to start this game. But as the game progressed, they started to wear down a little bit. And I thought that the relentless fight of that Titans offense got to them. Those big nasties wearing on them and leaning on them for the first 2.5 quarters. Thought it finally got to them in the third quarter when the dam broke and the Titans were able to make some huge plays on the offensive side of the football. Dick Sherman has to behave himself. He had a huge drive, and I thought that's when the Titans started to wake up after the drive where he had like 3 personal foul penalties and a pass interference that aided and abetted the Titans on getting on the scoreboard for the first time in the game. I thought that really woke them up and jump-started them in this game. He's got to behave himself. He can't hurt his team the way he did. He had one situation where it was 30 yards in penalties that helped the Titans get in the scoring range for the first time in the game, and they would ultimately get a field goal, and that would start the scoring for them on the afternoon. So Dick Sherman has to behave himself, like I said. But all in all, it was another solid performance by the defense. But you're not used to seeing this team, and this is the second week in a row I've seen them give up big runs in the run game. Is this a trend, Or is this something that is an aberration, but it just happened 2 separate occasions in a row? I'm starting to believe that you can run on this Seattle Seahawks defense. That's what I'm starting to surmise after watching Carlos Hyde break off a big run last week and go over 100 yards on not a ton of carries, and watching DeMarco Murray do similar things with similar amount of touches on the ground and having a big 75-yard touchdown run. I'm starting to believe you can gash this Seahawks defense that used to be almost impenetrable. I'm starting to believe you can gash them on the ground with big runs if you block it up correctly. And this is 2 weeks in a row, so once, shame on you. Second time, shame on me. I'm starting to believe that this may be something that you can do against the Seahawks, unlike past years. And so I'm anxious to see if that's the case or not. We're going to find out. But right now, it looks like you can run the football on the Seahawks. I'm not going to say that that's the case yet, but I'm starting to believe that if you can block up front, you can have success on the ground versus the Seattle Seahawks football team. You go to the offensive side of things. Look, 27 points for this team generally is going to hold up and be more than enough for them to win ball games. The fact that you gave up 33 is somewhat of an anomaly because you don't do that very often. But in any event, I was just happy to see the offense score. You still got issues protecting up front. Russell Wilson still had to escape. That's nothing new. I'm not going to harp on the offensive line. We do that every week here. There's no need to beat a dead horse. Bottom line is he was able to escape, make plays. It was good to see Jimmy Graham make a play or two. I hope Doug Baldwin's groin injury isn't severe because you can't sustain consistent success offensively without him. It's amazing when I watch him on a consistent basis do the things that he does. That touchdown catch was amazing. To go down, dig it out, keep a knee in bounds before going out of bounds. That's tremendous. And he's so underrated. If you want to talk underrated receivers in this league, the first name at the top of that list better be Doug Baldwin because he does not get the respect that he deserves for what he does for this Seattle Seahawks offense. Chris Carson is continuing to assert himself well to the point where Eddie Lacy can't even get on the field. They love Carson. They love C.J. Prosise. And right now, Eddie Lacy has been relegated to the bench. And so Carson catches a touchdown pass in this game. I think the Seahawks are coming offensively after the really slow and sluggish start. This gave me a little bit of hope for the offense moving forward. And Seahawks fans were telling me, we always get off the slow starts offensively. We'll pick it up. I'm starting to believe, but I need to see more. That was one game. I need to see more of this, but it wasn't enough in this game. And some of that burden falls on the shoulders of this offense for waiting too late to get it going in this game. And the other half of the burden falls on the defense for giving up big plays in this game over and over and again, allowing touchdowns to be scored instead of holding this Titans team to field goals. It's okay to give up big plays, but you need to find a way to get a tackle and get stops and hold them to field goals like you did early in the game and not later in the game when you gave up touchdowns on big plays. So in any event, it was a great performance by the Titans. They scored 33. They hold the Seahawks off late in this ball game and secure the victory 33-27, going to 2-1 on the season, dropping the Seahawks to 1-2. It was a valiant effort by the Seahawks to rally back, but it wasn't enough. But just the fact that they scored 27 brings a smile, a little smile to my face because now I know that they're capable after the very sluggish start of 7 and 12 points respectively in their first 2 games of the season. They have surpassed the total of points scored in the first 2 games in this one game with 27. So that's a little bit of hope if you're a Seahawks fan that you were able to start moving the football and being able to put up some points via the passing game. Let's get to any comments that may be out there and wrap this up so I can get to Monday Night Football with the rest of you guys. BE says, why are you live when Monday Night Football is on? I'm trying to get this one out the way so I can get the other one out the way, man. Vincent Cole says, hey, Lou, bro, huge shout out to Russell Wilson. I see him finally balling out even though we lost. They tripping for not giving him a good O-line. Russell Wilson, 4 touchdown passes, no interceptions, making a whole bunch of plays, having to escape the offensive line's troubles and woes. He was outstanding in this game. And again, 27 is going to be good enough most weeks with this defense. It just happened to not be enough against a Titans team that was able to score and make some big plays against your defense. Vincent Cole says, Can we still win this division? Come on, man. You know you're going to win the division. The Rams, I like them. They're a nice story, and they usually beat you at least once. But when it's all said and done, when the smoke clears and the dust settles, you're going to be the best team in this division. Stop your nonsense. Rob Vicencio says Jayon Brown should start over average Williamson. Jayon Brown will eventually get an opportunity to start. He says over Avery Average Williamson. Yeah, right now the standout linebacker amongst your group is the guy you got from Denver a couple of years ago. His name escapes me, but he's a hell of a football player. He's all over the football field. And eventually Jayon Brown is going to see the field. Trust me. RG3 hashtag says, man, you better not call me out Wednesday. If you pick bad, you know I am. That's why he's saying that. Silver V says, this was just a bad game for the Legion of Boom, or is this the beginning of the end? I never thought you could question their effort till now. I think they're fine. I think what happens is sometimes their over-aggressiveness gets the better of them. Now, understand that these guys are getting older, okay? Understand that Dick Sherman is a year older, Cam Chancellor is a year older, and the only guy that I still think is going 110 miles an hour is Earl Thomas. All right, so at the end of the day, these guys are getting up there in age, and you're going to start to see the deterioration of the Legion of Boom, but I don't think we're there yet. I just think the Titans out-schemed you, made plays, and you got to say hats off to them. Lil Bam says, what up, Louie T? Man, they hating on my boy Adoree Jackson. Keep calling his punt returns back. Yeah, it was a block in the back, but it was an outstanding punt return, man. Hey, he's going to bust one. Trust me when I tell you, that young man's going to get one eventually. It's coming. Y'all just got to remain patient. It's coming. Yes, Woodard is the linebacker I was talking about. Wesley Woodyard is the guy that I was talking about. He's a baller. That's the best linebacker you got right now, making plays for you. But eventually, Adoree is he's gonna bust one, and and once he gets one, the floodgate's gonna open. I can easily see him having 2 or 3 punt returns for a touchdown, similar to Patrick Peterson in his rookie season. Remember when Pat P first burst onto the scene his rookie year? He had like 3 or 4 punt returns for touchdowns. Hasn't had one since. I think that could be Adoree Jackson in his rookie season. Come in, break off about 3 or 4 of them joints for a touchdown, and then he gets so eager like Patrick Peterson did to break everyone for a touchdown. He starts running backwards, and it gets to the point where all right, we got to get his ass out of there. But I think he's going to break one soon. You guys just got to be patient with him. In any event, that's going to do it for me here on Lockdown Coverage. Titans get the win, 33-27. An impressive win, one that I fully expected. I did not expect a shootout, but I expected them to outlast the Seahawks. And they did that in this game. And I've been impressed with their second half of football. That's where you win football games, in the second half. And that's when the Titans have played their best football thus far in this young season. They've been outstanding in the second half of games, and they did it again here, scoring 24 points on 4 straight possessions, 21 of which was unanswered, 3 straight touchdowns. They were phenomenal in that third quarter, and they win this game 33-27 over the Seahawks, who dropped to 1-2. Titans now 2-1 and are tied for first place, but really because of their win over Jacksonville, now hold sole possession over first place. But they're literally tied. But at 2-1 with the win over the Jags, they're in first place in the AFC South division. For the Seahawks, just be happy you scored 27 points. That's a sign, hopefully, of good things to come for your offense, because if you're scoring 27 a game, you're going to win most games with the way your defense usually plays. And so that's a good sign for you if you're a Seattle Seahawks fan. If you want to donate to the channel, Louie T Network, here's how you do so: via PayPal. The link is in front of you. It's also down in the discussion. Click on the link. It'll take you straight to where you can donate. All donations are greatly appreciated, no matter how big or small. I appreciate them all. And so if you can donate, please do so. If you can't, that's fine too. Just continue to support and watch like you've been doing. Like and share the videos, and make sure that if you haven't already done so, you subscribe to the Louie T Network. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on the Louie T Network. Come back and join me as I've got one more game to break down, and of course, I'll be back for the recap of Monday Night Football. Cardinals hosting the Dallas Cowboys for Monday Night Football overtime. So until then, hopefully halftime of that game, I'll come with the Chiefs and Chargers, and then we'll be ready for the Monday Night Football overtime program after the Cowboys and Cards come to a completion. So I've got a couple more videos. You'll see this face a couple more times tonight. Enjoy for Monday Night Football. I've got more videos. You know you'll see me some more. Until then, have a good one. Thanks for watching. See you in a bit.